Alas, why does his people so dispraise God's providence or fortune and her ways that oft and variously in their scheme includes far better things than they could dream? One man desires to have abundant wealth, which brings about his murder or ill health. Another, freed from prison as he willed, comes home, his servants catch him, and he's killed. Infinite are the harms that come this way. We little know the things for which we pray. Our ways are drunkard ways, drunk as a mouse. A drunkard knows quite well that he has a house, but how to get there puts him in a dither, and for a drunk the way is slip and slither. So is our world indeed, and such are we. How eagerly we seek felicity, yet are so often wrong in what we try. Yes, we can all say that, and so can I, in whom the foolish notion has arisen that if I could only escape from prison, I should be well in pure beatitude, whereas I am an exile from my good. And since I may not see you, Emily, I am but dead, and there's no remedy. Okay, that's the passage. So he's complaining about the fact that human beings ask for stuff, and we get the other stuff. So this passage here, the first step whenever you get a passage is to summarize, kind of dirty paraphrase what it says. Dirty paraphrase does not mean something dirty. For those of you, it doesn't mean that. What it means is you don't literally go frickin' line by line and word by word and put it in your own words. It kind of means you just try to translate this into a way that you understand it. So let's kind of go through a little bit quickly. Why do folks often complain about God or a fortune that gives them full often in so many manners, much better than they can themselves imagine? So he's kind of being ironic. Why do people complain about God or complain about fortune when they always give us more than we can imagine, more than we want? But it's not true. He says then, somebody desires to be rich, and then they end up getting sick. Someone, no matter, wants to get out of prison, they go home, and the servants kill him. Are you still recording?
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, right, so then he said, so you kind of you ask for one thing, and you get another. It's like those things with the shows where you ask for the genie from the lamp, and then they give you something else, I want to be the richest man in the world, and then they kill your dad, and you get the life insurance money, and you're like, buzzkill, dude. So that's kind of that thing. And then he says that we people are drunk. Like the similarity here is to a drunk person. We're just stumbling around trying to figure our way out. And then he gets to the end where the example is, I wanted to be out of prison. This is archetype. I wanted to be out of prison. But in getting out of prison, I get exiled from Athens, therefore I can't be with my love. Okay, we got it? That's the kind of summary. The second step is that you start looking for literary things. And that's what I'm calling them in the assignment. Literary things. Similes, repetition, irony, metaphors. You start looking for them. So right away, we act like one who is drunk as a mouse. Okay? So let's just start. And then once you find one that you like, then the next step is to kind of take a really close look at what that line means. We act like one who is drunk as a mouse. So let's just take that. There's a lot of other ones. You could talk about the fact that the way is slippery. You could talk about the choices. He talks about how you have asking for wealth and then being killed, asking for freedom and then losing everything you want. These kind of juxtapositions of opposites. But I like this idea of being drunk as a mouse. So this is the third step. We've picked one. Now let's talk about what it means. So if you're drunk, we know what drunk is. We get this. You're kind of inebriated, you're intoxicated, you're not thinking straight, you're wobbly. You didn't tell me about my friends. You're like that. That's who you are. But then there's this thing about the mouse. I don't know about you. I don't know about you. I don't think of mice as drinkers. Do you think that in your head? Hey, I think drunk is a skunk because it rhymes. But drunk as a mouse sounds weird. So why does he say that? What does that mean? So then we think about stuff. We know what drunk means. What about mice? What are mice? They're small. They're furry. They scurry. They get eaten. They get killed. They're considered pests. So there's this idea there of kind of weaving around, of hiding, of being small, of being insignificant. And then so we start to get, then we can kind of pull back from that. Because once we have an idea of what this means, we act like one who is drunk as a mouse. So like a small, insignificant, totally threatened, totally terrified creature that is intoxicated, running all over the place with no rhyme or reason, has no idea where he's going, hiding, always looking for things to avoid. So then that's what that drunk as a mouse would mean. Then our fourth step, and this is where we get into actual analysis. Now that we've pulled this, now that we've taken this one moment, we can pull back and think of what this means. Because we act like one who is drunk as a mouse. In relationship to whom? To God and to fortune. In other words, to God and to fate. So when it comes to the things that rule our lives from this medieval viewpoint, we are like a small, drunken pest. So God sits there on high, and we scurry around drunkenly. What do we do when we see a mouse? We do two things when we see a mouse. We kill it, or we scream about it. God, being God, does not scream when he sees us, but he does see us from this perspective as kind of like an insignificant, small, furry pest. So, the relationship that Archite is detailing here, this is the larger point, is that two gods, to the gods, to God, if you're a Christian, to fate, if you're not, we are small, insignificant things. And we ask for things, and we get whatever the fates determine that they want to give us. Okay? That's what this is. So that's what this passage is. This is a passage that shows that human beings are opposed sometimes to the will of the gods, the will of God. Human beings are at the whim of this will, much like a mouse is at the whim of anything bigger than it, which is everything. And no matter what we ask for, we're going to get what we get, even if it's not really what we want. So it's a very cynical, negative point of view. Do you see this? Do you see this? Do you? Because that's what I want you to do. That's what literary analysis is. It is taking this passage, understanding it, finding something in it, pulling it up, and seeing what it tells us about the work as a whole. Because this whole thing where we're fighting for love and we're looking for honor, this says, look, all of that stuff is great, but we're just wandering around drunkenly like a small animal that could be crushed in an instant. So it's almost like pointless. Okay? Do we see the kind of dark, sad pointlessness? Good? Great. Thank you. I hope this video helped. If it doesn't, it's not my fault. It's Kate's. Bye. I love you.